It's like, you got to show me how you do your stuff. And it's like, well, it's simple. You get children to work for you, and you're this perfectly vertically integrated mega conglomerate.
Electric Palace sounds like a gay club that I would really. You'd be like, let's go shake our asses at the Electric Palace. And you're like, that was the best night of my life.
Welcome to Talking to Tomatoes, the podcast where we analyze the fundamentalist children's media that we grew up with, not only for its quality, but for the pernicious propaganda behind it. I am Eric Everly.
And I'm Jubilation Lee. We are recording this on Halloween, and I am an X-Man
Oh,
because I'm an
I
X-Man.
don't, I don't, I, I don't have my costume is all packed up ready
You're
for an
cosplaying the
event
Family
tonight.
Disappointment. I'm kidding. That's me.
About me? I don't know.
Wow. What are you saying? What are you saying?
Nothing. It's Halloween.
Hmm. And the joke is that
So
I'm an X-Man because I'm transgender, so that makes me an X-Man.
that
Last
joke never gets old.
never gets.
Today we are continuing our look at Adventures in Odyssey with the episode "A Cheater Cheated."
It's
Yeah,
one where John Avery Whitaker has a torrid love affair with Eugene, and his wife catches him. Oh, not that kind of cheating.
If only it was that interesting.
Yeah,
Though I
only.
have to say, we'll get into it. I was so excited at the beginning of this because the level of the layers of drama's the wrong word, but like the layers of intrigue that were built like instantly, like within the first like 2 minutes of this episode.
Yeah,
And
there's
going,
like
whoa,
hidden
whoa, whoa.
cameras and recordings, and
We'll get into it. So the central story for this episode is regarding a business called the Electric Palace and their proprietor Bart Rathbone. Awesome name, by the way, for
Rathbone is a great name.
uh,
Electric Palace sounds like a gay club that I would really. You'd be like, wait, you really go there? And people are like, okay, no, hold on, let's go, let's go shake our asses at the Electric Palace. And you're like, that was the best night of my life.
right. But in this case, of course, Odyssey's boring. So the Electric Palace is like an electronics superstore. So we open on somebody coming up to the owner being like, hey, how does this, I've got this coupon that you like distributed somehow, how does this work? And of course, being a little Weasley businessman, Bart goes through the whole, you have to, what is it, they have to buy a
Oh, they're
CD
like, you
player.
you save the money, you have to get the order doesn't matter. You have to buy a flashlight to get the special batteries that come with it that then give you 50% off of the CD.
Right, yeah, so he takes like a minute to explain to someone, where there's a little like asterisk. It's described that there's like an asterisk or something on the coupon, and he has to go back and explain it to everyone. And I was sitting there and I was like, how much work? Like he printed off these coupons that are intentionally obtuse to like bring people in, and then he has to explain to dozens or hundreds of customers this convoluted thing. How can that be worth the time of somebody who actually goes, well, you know what, I actually do need a flashlight, and that flashlight needs batteries, so then I can save $10 on a
Yeah, you're
CD
casting a
or
very
something like that.
wide net and looking for one really specific thing. It's like the opposite of the self-selecting scams or the self-selecting deception, where something
Right.
is intentionally looks like a
It's
scam to
intentionally
scare
obtuse
away
so
the
that only
smart people.
stupid people. Yeah. So that smart people. But this one is like isn't self-selecting enough, and it's also it's $10. Like after cost and stuff. How much is he like making per transaction versus the number of customer? It's like
Let's
this
do the
feels like the
math
sort of
on the
scam
yeah.
that.
Yeah, let's it's what it is what okay, there's a lot of boomer like power that not even power fantasy, but just what's the word? Like
You gotta finish your thoughts, so
it's not
I know
it's not
what
a
you're
power
talking.
fantasy, but it's like just this boomer fantasy, which one, very archaic that the boomer is not raising their voice at all, being like, you're telling me I need to buy a flashlight to get the batteries to get the discount on the CD? and he's the most sniveling. Honestly, amazing performance. We should really pull up the voice actors' names when there's a performance like this. But he's like, that's right, that's my scheme. You might as well be saying, that's my scheme. And the guy very calmly is like, yeah, I'm not gonna shop here anymore, which I thought was a little bit funny.
Yeah, well, I mean, and part of the I sort of assume reason why this person isn't like you're being dishonest. Like I can't believe you do that, and like they don't get mad is because what we learn like 10 seconds later as he walks out. This isn't a customer. This is a reporter doing like an undercover sting,
Oh,
and he's
it's
got
the
a recording device on his person to
he's
capture
wearing
the
the
words.
wire.
And this is the point where I was like, what? And God, what is it? There's like a thing. Like this isn't just like a let's investigate. Let's be an investigative journalist to do like thing. This is vengeance for. They make some reference to another thing that Rathbone did that
Oh,
like
I missed
screwed
that.
over this particular reporter. So I was just like, all of a sudden we go from, don't you think it's dishonest? And we're like, okay, yeah, we know where this is going to like a House of Cards level of convoluted like level of things. Like, well, if you
I
didn't
bet you don't even
screw me over
recognize
back
me
in,
anymore, Rathbone. Oh, you!
well, well, he pulls off the mask because originally like it's sort of the investigative thing is like pitched or in some ways about we're doing this in order to because there are businesses that sell poor quality things that break on purpose, so you have to buy new ones. And I was like, hey, Odyssey's taking a stand against planned obsolescence.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I have also there's all sorts of weird stuff. There's like a cancer charity involved. What's the guy from the last episode? Edwin Blackguard
Oh.
like owns the store or something is another
Oh.
thing that comes out. So again, it's just like yeah,
We're actually starting to
your
get an
whole
interesting tapestry of the all the confusing businesses in Odyssey.
yeah, exactly. And I was just like, oh, we need to start mapping this out and do your
Sooner or later
idea
we're
for
gonna have
the
a chart on the wall. It's like, and Rathbone
a
and
conspiracy
Shakespeare
board with turns
relationship
out
question mark?
Rathbone is at the end. It all comes down to wit. So basically, what ends up happening is there's like a teaser for this like expose that's going to happen that comes out using the quote from Rathbone at the beginning where the person goes, "Don't you think that's dishonest?" And he's like, "So." And so it's like
I actually
tonight at the
love
11 o'clock.
dishonesty.
Yeah. And so then of course Rathbone is like, oh crap, my hoisted by my own petard. And so he goes to Wit's End to talk to Whitaker about what happened
Yeah.
and like how do I quickly regain the trust of the community and my
John Avery
employees and
Whitaker's
stuff.
finally descended from Olympus to be in a fucking episode.
Yeah, wondered about. I think we talked about this at a previous episode about like is he just it's like I'm fucking John Avery Whitaker. I work when I want to work, and they're like, well, do we have him this week? No, he's
Yeah.
raking in that Odyssey money. So Rathbone goes to Whitaker and is like what's going on? And this is also where we have met for the first time Eugene, who's like a sort of nerdy assistant of Wit. He's a very small role. Have to say, enjoyed his sassiness because
Yeah,
Rathbone comes in and
usually the archetype of like like there are several like kind of nerdy, dorky, clumsy, generic characters, and this was like a kind of smart and sassy version of that character, and I'm like, well,
yeah, so yeah, it's Rathbone and Whitaker talking about where Whitaker's like, I don't know, you've been dishonest and
no, he's
done all this,
so
and he's like,
condescending.
please help me, and Eugene is just like, oh my god, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's actually going to do this. Oh god, right. And then so in order to like learn how to be good, just a good person, just learning basic empathy and frankly customer service, Rathbone decides to work a 3 week internship at Wits End, which
You're just
first
gonna
off
just not run your
confuses the
store
time.
for 3 weeks. And what is this lead up on like a 5 minute expose, like 5 minute little segment on local news?
Yeah, yeah, he's like coming up in 20 days.
There's just so much
Just
specificity. There's so little explained, and then when they go to these lengths for the specificity, it's just baffling. I'm like, does a particular writer like really care about this sort of thing? But it's also like why, it's not the specificity of here's some really technical information. Like one random episode that I started listening to had a ton of was like some kid was in the imagination station in like a bomber in World War II. And of course, some Gen X dad writing this had a ton of technical information. It's just like wildly specific information. Like, you will spend 3 weeks doing this. And I was like, it can just be the three
it
vignettes
could
that are
be an
about to happen.
afternoon.
The
Like,
episode's barely 20 minutes long with all of the bullshit preamble. So I'm like, what are we doing here?
and then what is now becoming a theme in Odyssey. So Eugene is sort of supervising Rathbone as he like runs the soda counter. Is that what you call that? Just whatever
The
the
soda,
where
yeah.
people order like ice cream and stuff. But Eugene is like, I need to be in the workshop, so I'm going to put a radio in your ear
There's
that apparently also has.
Cyrano de Borgiac of customer service.
So he basically is gonna be Rathbone's conscience when Rathbone is basically being short and snippy with customers and stuff. But it's also like this. We also had the other episode where Wit was the voice in the ear for the kid. It's like, what is this? I don't know. It's like you said, it's a very specific detail for this insane premise
When you
of
could have just
this
like
is gonna be the
been snippy and then like the customer's like, okay, I guess I'll just drink this drink that you fucked up, and then they walk away, and then Eugene could just
and
be there like,
Eugene
here's what
behind
we
the
did
counter is like,
wrong.
hi, yeah, this is what we need to do. You need to change what you do. And I don't know, maybe this is just someone who's worked a lot of customer service, but Eugene's like premise of like what makes good customer service is insane because he's like, no, you need to like talk to people and get to know each other. And I'm like, again, although this might just be again Gen X or Boomer, producers being like, no, you know what everyone really wants from the person, in the little hat working behind the ice cream counter is a deep conversation before you order,
Yeah.
kind of a thing. Because he's like, no, you need to talk to the person and get to know them
Well,
and
these are the
ask
same people
about
that
their
I'm sure
day.
are mad when they don't get that service, and then would, are the captains of industry that make everything as impersonal and quick as possible. Like, this is just a paradigm that would not exist. Like, I don't know. And again, we're criticizing 30-year-old media's depiction of customer service.
The idea that Eugene is somewhere doing whatever he does, like whatever his job is, while listening and talking to Rathbone.
He's
Like
supervising
it's
all the
just like,
various children interns that somehow have full-time jobs at Wits End.
yeah,
So there was also like
yeah. I mean,
this episode was like, I mean, as far as a moral lesson goes in general, it was fine, but like they so shoehorned in like a single sentence where Wit says something generic like, I think you need to be like a more honest businessman. And then Eugene goes, I think he means in the biblical way, which was such a weird way to say that. It's like, you can, again, it's just like you can teach these moral lessons without having to, like, if you're going to do so little effort to put any Bible anything into this, not that I'm hoping they do more, but it's just like, why not just make it a
it,
generic, hey, it's a good thing to be honest, which they
see, I actually don't think it does a good job of that because as we'll get to the end. So Rathbone is doing his customer service and sort of begrudgingly engaging with people. And so, like we literally have like one interaction with him and a customer. And then apparently fast forward like 3 weeks where he's like out on the pavement and he's like basically guess in front of his store protesting the story that's about to come out, which is kind of weird because like why would you just bring attention to it? And
Yeah,
also it's like who is driving down the street going, "Oh, I see that sign. I
good
definitely
point.
won't watch that particular thing." And then we have continuing the convoluted thing. There's a so Rathbone has a son who I guess works at the store because Odyssey loves child labor.
All the children need jobs. The children yearn
Where's
for
the
full
expose on
employment.
that?
Yeah.
Full employment for everyone over the age of 9. The big reveal is in the expose is that the like inside source about some of the other things that Rathbone is doing. I forget what some of them are, but it's it's changing labels or taking making things, wearing things out before you sell them so they break sooner and all this. The source is Rathbone's own son. Dun,
Dun
dun,
dun
dun.
dun. Treason.
Who again, another aside by the way thing. The son is doing something that Rathbone doesn't like at one point, and Rathbone is going to decides to ground him, but he doesn't call it grounding him. He calls it putting him on restriction. Put on restriction, and I'm like, what the who
What?
how is that?
That's the
What does
most
that mean?
like
Is this a oh man, now I'm literally just thinking, I wonder if is that a like James Dobson, like I don't know, calling it grounding is too secular, so we have to have our own thing. But yeah, he's like, no TV, no anything, but calling it putting on restrictions is insane. I listened to this too long ago because I have a quote written down and I don't know what. See if this triggers anything for you. It says, "I didn't want you to be offended by the garbage on the radio today." Oh, well, it doesn't matter who said that. I just thought it was funny because we're listening to a radio program that is either telling on itself or just being a little too obvious in its fourth wall break with criticizing thing. So Rathbone is protesting all this thing and is like, "Oh, my business is going down because apparently learning from Whitaker wasn't enough and everything." And then right before the piece is about to air, someone from the station, the guy who's doing the expose's boss, comes to him and is like, "Hey, turns out there's some other story that we're getting some heat about." I forget if he was they're actually saying they're getting sued for it, but basically he's exaggerating or somehow fabricating another story. And so the higher ups are like, no more expose. Like, we need to like thoroughly vet our reporting. And so the piece doesn't air, so Rathbone's business doesn't go under.
well, it
The
doesn't get
end.
the press.
like,
Yeah, no,
like,
yeah. It is like he doesn't really learn how to do good customer service, and then there are just no consequences again, which I
right,
still
right.
I there's a part of me that can kind of guess. Like it doesn't feel like very typical of Christian media, but I also sort of get why they tend to not like ruin children's lives because they do something bad and like the consequence is often sort of displayed but not like enforced, which I sort of get when if it's too big of a
Okay,
deal.
I guess so yeah, you're basically saying it's like Rathbone is sitting there, goes, "My business, like I'm ruined. I'm gonna be ruined when this comes out." So we get to see that without the actual
I mean,
consequence
like
to
it's
him. And
it's also just like non-advancement of the story, like standard writing. I think it almost makes less sense. Why would you have such a cartoonishly bad character have again suffer no consequences? Like I understand sometimes why you do would do it, like with a little kid, but I sort of get it sometimes not doing it all the time. But you can't just like it's kind of a repeating thing where there's just like
yeah, I mean, I guess for the
again it
story
was
you
like
have to have
a
you.
lot of times they'll learn the lesson like a little bit too late and then it will be like okay and now there's no consequences but they'll like even
And
be
now
sort of
status quo is returned,
but he
sort of
doesn't
sort of
learn
a
his
thing.
lesson. He doesn't really seem like he's going to be changing. Like if anything the lesson is just I don't know, hide your bad business practices from your children until they learn to be dishonest like you.
Make sure your customers aren't wearing a wire before you admit to your crimes in front of them. Yeah, so we don't open with a Bible verse, but it's closed with something from Matthew 22, which I just had it written down Matthew 22, but I'm pretty sure I
It's gotta
remember
be
that the thing it's where the
golden rule.
wait it's,
Do
no
unto
it's
others.
is that the golden rule? Yeah,
Yeah.
you love your neighbor as yourself. It's love your neighbor as yourself is basically what it is, kind of a thing, which again is a
Not the
weird
lesson that
lesson to try
like
to take.
it's a lesson they try to teach him, but it's not the lesson he learns. So it's like, what are we doing?
And I don't know again because he's set up as such a cartoon character that it's kind of like I don't know, it's like the purpose of like having kids in these things are so like the kids learn the lesson and then the kids listening to it are like, oh, I could see myself in that position. Children, I feel like children aren't going to relate to the
Yeah, it's such an adult focused episode and almost like an adult geared episode. Which, because, like, again, normally maybe I wouldn't be as picky about them. Like, the story being so complicated, there being so many layers to what's going on, and then the lack of a lesson. But, like, yeah, there's usually the cartoony characters are being ridiculous around, around the children. The children are like, I don't think that's what the Bible says.
if the kids can't relate to the adult characters and that's the one who's learning the lesson, but he doesn't learn the lesson really. I mean, like that's played up for laughs is the fact that he's not really good at the whole customer service angle,
And then
which
it's just kind of bad piece of, it's just a inefficient, late, like kind of lazy, kind of sloppy piece of media that like who's this for at the end for someone to maybe for
yeah,
someone
we need
to
to
sort of put their grievance about. But again, if it feels like the guy would almost get more consequences if they really wanted to it to be that. It was just a confusing episode. It was really short too. Like I said, it was like
yeah,
22 minutes.
yeah, I know. We're already running out of stuff to talk about. I did think it was kind of funny this idea of there's something that just came to me as funny when he's at wit's end talking to talking about how he's like, you got to show me how you do your stuff. And it's like, well, it's simple. You get children to work for you, and you're this perfectly vertically integrated mega conglomerate of a bookstore and a invention workshop
And a
and a
library
soda
and a soda
fountain.
fountain.
Yeah, yeah, you're all of these things, and it's like, oh, sorry, you should have diversified a little bit, Mister Rathbone, like Mister Whitaker there.
When he
So
sells like
yeah,
all
that,
electronics. And again, apparently innovating the planned obsolescence in the way that was not happening in the 90s.
yeah, the thing that people were worried about, and then it came true. So of the one lesson that we could have learned from Adventures in Odyssey that would be useful if it had been learned by everybody 30 years ago was planned obsolescence is bullshit.
So in conclusion, all focus on the family media is good.
Oh, is that what we're taking away from all of this? Yeah, I think we need to start doing some two. Let's do a two-parter next time.
Okay.
Because I want to. I'm also just sort of this is like an honestly curious about how the like how what is the is it really like this big episode that they then chopped in half and just like tune in next time, or is that how much overlap just I'm not as we're not really familiar with radio dramas certainly in general as a society anymore, so I kind of want to see what they do with a 2 or 3
Yeah.
parter
Well, like I said,
in
there was
terms
that one
of
that was I think it was a two-parter. A kid wakes up as a bombardier in a really specific World War II plane, and then immediately changes plans. Is like, hey, let's fly over Frankfurt. And they're like, what about the anti-aircraft batteries? And the guy was like, don't worry about it. I'm like, this kid's cool. It was quite entertaining. We'll probably do that one next.
Okay, that sounds awesome. I wanna do that. In the meantime, find us on our various socials. Follow us on currently we're still as we film this, we are still just on YouTube, but we're kind of waiting until we get like a backlog of episodes before we do all the
And I'm
work
sure
of
you're listening to
figuring
this
out.
in 2035, and we're doing the high video things. We're doing
We're
live
like
shows. We're meeting.
we're doing live shows. We've run out of
dating
Odyssey
Chris
to
in the
do.
future, probably.
Oh God, no, please.
The voice actor. I'm sure
But
she's deconstructed her faith by now. We all seem to at some point. It'll be great. Look
uh,
forward to that. 2030. It's coming.
stop,
Live,
stop predicting
live
things.
at
Stop
the
predicting
Pioneer
things.
Theater in Seattle, Washington.
Uh,
Tickets will be
Also,
$20.
what will be
The
$20?
tickets.
The tickets?
We will lose
You
so
can't.
much money on this.
We will lose so much money trying to sell out the Pioneer Theater. In the meantime, you can also follow us individually. I'm on TikTok as Eric.Eberly.
And I'm on TikTok as Titan of Joy.
Talk to you later, tomatoes.
We're gonna work on that.
No, we're not. We're not. Well, you haven't over this many episodes. You haven't come up with anything. So, talk to you later, tomatoes.